ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to No Icing. Now, Dritta usually hosts this show, but she is taking a much needed and very well deserved vacation. I'm not going to tell y'all where she is, other than to say she's in a better place than we are at the moment. But all is well. We are finer than frog hair because in place of Dritta, you have myself, Jon Phipps, and over the course of the next 30 to 40 minutes, you will see me get consumed by the Becca-ning, because my co-host for tonight is none other than the inevitable and incredible and wonderful and Mrs. Everything, Renee Yaworsky. Hello.
Hello.
You're wearing one of those Georgia shirts.
Yes, I'm wearing one of the Georgia shirts, and I also have the Rebecca shirt. So if I have time, I'll go back and forth. I have a Rebecca shirt, but I am
Yes.
wearing my Georgia shirt, and of course, I'm a proud Georgia Bulldog. And Jonathan
Yes.
Phipps, the last time that he was in
Yeah.
Athens, he was sweet enough to get me this, and I have a few other
And a
ones. So I'll
bunch of
be
others.
rotating. Yeah,
Yes. So,
very proud to be a Bulldog. There you go.
yes.
That's my
So, Renee and
Bulldog.
I are taking over on No Icing for tonight
We have
because
taken over
Rita
the
is on
station. Here we
vacation.
are.
And Ray's camera. Oh, now your camera was froze there for a second, but now it's good. Now it is good.
Good,
So,
good.
Renee, it is lovely to see you here again. Before we go any further, we must tell the folks what's coming up in under 48 hours from now. We're
Ooh.
celebrating the fans of Cosmos.
Yes, that's
We're
right.
celebrating the fans of Cosmos. I love the sheer look of terror on Renee's face. She's like, oh, fuck, what's coming up? What did I miss? But no, we are doing a fan festival.
It's
It is 2 for and about the fans. And that lady right there is kicking things off. She is Jake and Bethy Allen are Mama and Papa SDF. You are looking at Mama and Papa Cosmos because she and I helped put this together. And though really the man that she will be with on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Dennis Tardon, is responsible for all of this in a roundabout kind of way.
Yeah, definitely.
So Renee and Dennis are kicking off the festival. I will be a part of it at 7 o'clock.
But he's also coming, but Jonathan will also be joining me and Dennis.
Yes.
Early in the morning, so he'll be there, and we do invite anybody else who wants to come on. We'll publish the link, right, so that we can all start off and celebrate Cosmos right from the very beginning, and I think that's going to be really cool.
It is going to be a great time. So Dennis and Renee kick off the festival at 10 a.m. I go on at 7 p.m., even though you'll see my name a couple of different times during the festival, because I will also be directing a special live episode of the Jam Session with Jamie Bennett and special guest Annie Clark at 5 o'clock that afternoon. And our guest for tonight will be closing out the festival, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight.
I love her.
Yes, that's why. And that she is the other half of the Becca-ning that is going on here today.
The Becca-ning. I love it.
The Becca-ning, yes. So, enough. It's like, what was that thing? Enough of this palaver. Let's get this show on the highway. Ladies and gentlemen, the other half of the Becca-ning. The other half of the Becca-ning. And I'm just checking the comments here. Hello, Ruby Ray. And our guest is in the comments, tagging away already. Ilana is here. It is going to be a great time. Ladies and gentlemen, Renee, I wish you had your drumsticks ready because you could put that kid's drum in your room to good use.
I don't know if anyone
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the No Icing stage, Rebecca Brown Tawney. Come on down.
Come on down. Yes, look at you killing it. That's your motto.
Killing it.
Yes.
How are you?
Killing it.
We're all right.
Oh, How are
Better
you?
now that you're here. So much better now that we see your beautiful face. I love your, I have some fun glasses. Why don't we'll do the twinsies?
Go get your glasses.
There it
Yay!
is. Look, so now all three of
See,
us
y'all.
are
Here's
bespectacled. Bespectacled.
here's the thing.
Bespectacled.
Y'all have the cool glasses. I just have these that just accentuate my blindness. Anyway.
Don't be down on yourself. I have some questions for Rebecca Brown Tawney. I want to know, Rebecca, how does it feel?
Oh my God.
Oh wow! What is the
That
name of your
scared
dog?
the fuck out of me.
Jonathan,
That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, but Jonathan,
let me go.
Murphy's Law.
Hold on. Let me fix this problem.
Murphy's
Oh,
Law.
hold on.
I love
Hold on.
Okay.
Jonathan, do you like dogs?
Certain dogs. And I must confess here, I don't even think I've told you this. I, from a very young age, had a severe fear of dogs.
Ooh.
I had a severe, and I can tell you where it stemmed too. My cousin had this giant white dog. I'm not exactly sure the breed.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I should tell the story here or not. It bring everybody
Let's
down.
Focus on Rebecca right now, okay?
Yes.
We'll
So
get the
let's
dog
hope.
story later.
I was gonna say, let's hope she found the muzzles.
No, we do not.
Nah.
What kind of dog do you have, Rebecca?
I have a little. He's a Morkie.
Oh,
That would be yes. That would stand for a pain in the ass. That's what Morkie stands. But he's my pain. So
he's your pain in the ass, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
That. Okay, so I want to know, Rebecca Brown Tawney, how does it feel to have a fan base? Do you think of yourself as someone who's very popular or famous yet, or are you just more humble, where you don't allow yourself to get into that? What do you think about your impact? That you do have impact, you have a platform, you have a voice. How are you dealing with all of that emotionally and mentally?
Well, first off, I didn't know I had a fan base.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Oh, you for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. But I didn't know I had a fan base, but thank you very much.
You do.
I'm probably as humble as they come. I gotta tell you, I love that people log in to watch me in any sort of way, or that they're even interested in knowing about me, because I just love singing. I love making people happy. And if that's what I can do in this life, then I've done something right. So if that's a fan base, I've developed a fan base, huh?
That's right.
You most certainly have.
Good.
Rebecca, let me ask you, because you just mentioned you're singing and all. When did you first get that love of singing and performing in you? When did you first get that? Was it something that was instilled in you at a young age, or something that came a little later in life?
Well, it depends who you talk to. My mom would say that since 3 years old, I started singing. Both my older brothers, my father and my grandfather, were all musicians. And so I think I just kind of had it in the blood. I don't think I had a choice, to be honest. Everybody in my family is pretty musical, and I'm like the only one that doesn't know how to play an instrument yet. I say yet. But I'm a vocalist, so it's interesting to grow up with musicians for sure. Those that play the drums and the guitar, and I have my oldest brother can just play anything. He's like that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a little mini prince. I'd call him a local prince. So he can do just about anything. But my grandfather, he actually was. I like to toot his horn. That sounded just dirty right there. My grandfather was in a band called
11 minutes in. There we go.
11 minutes in, she has a Morkie dog that's going crazy, and I'm already starting. So my grandfather, he actually used to perform here and there with Gene Autry and Patty Lee or Patty Lee, Patty Page. I think Patty Page, and he used to have a radio show locally in our area, but he traveled around from state to state, and he performed with other musicians well known. And he was actually really close with, you guys know who John Ritter is, the actor.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge
Yes,
fan.
his grandfather, Tex Ritter, used to be a
Yes.
huge popular musician.
Do not
And my
forsake
grandfather
me, oh
used
my
to,
darling, on this
yes,
our
my grandfather
wedding
used to perform with
day.
him too. So
Wow,
I
like
think,
Holy
yeah,
cow.
he was pretty phenomenal. So he actually wrote a record too. You know, back then when they did a record, it was just like one song on one little LP. And I think, honestly, looking back as I was a child, I think that's probably where it started. You know, everybody talked about him growing up. And of course, you know, my father and my two older brothers used to, you know, like I had two brothers that were drummers, and my oldest brother could just play anything, from the saxophone to the drums to the guitar to the piano, everything. And so I really had it. But my grandfather had this, you know, beautiful voice, and they would, you know, play his music and everything growing up. And so I'd hear that too. So I'm sure, you know, deep in the shadows, I'm sure that had something to do with my love for music too. Certainly it does now, especially the era that I'm drawn to the older I get as well. So.
Can we find anything by your grandfather online? Is there any way to access any of
Yeah,
his
I
catalog?
actually posted it on live on the mic, and I mean, if you'll allow me, I can post it onto the Cosmos
Yes,
TV too.
Please do.
Absolutely. Oh, it is so cool. It is
Exciting.
so. I actually came across an article that I posted online too. Back in the '80s, they did this article on my great uncle Speed and my grandfather. And that's when I realized, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe all the people that he performed with. And you know, you know, your grandpa, you know, used to perform, and you see the pictures and stuff. But when they start throwing out like famous names, you know, back then, I'm like, wow, he was cooler than cool, you know, not just in our family, but, you know, outside the family, and especially locally. You know, he was this little, you know, popular guy. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to share that. And I actually posted the article. It's interesting to read too. Absolutely. If you guys allow me, I'd love to do that.
Please do.
Absolutely. Yep, you can actually go on YouTube, and then if you put in Buddies of the Airlines, that was the group, and someone came across his record and actually posted it on YouTube because he thought the family would think that was neat.
Holy
and
cow.
that was so awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so he shared it on YouTube. I thought that was pretty cool for our family.
Wow,
for sure.
I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about genetics? Do you, like, just in general, what's your philosophy about how much do you think is nurture and how much is nature when you're talking about what choices we make in our lives? I mean, how much do you think that your actual genetics plays into who you are as a person versus the environment?
Right, that's a very good question. That's a very loaded question.
Yeah, everyone's got a different point of view there.
Absolutely. I think, honestly, I think there can be multiple, you know, genetics, and certainly if you grow up around music, that, you know, you grow up around something and hearing stuff all the time, and around people that are, you know, heavily musically inclined. And, you know, I mean, I can't remember a day growing up, honestly, that I did not hear music in our household. Seriously. And, you know, when you're younger, I'm thinking, gosh, this is so annoying, because my brother would, like, you know, be blaring Kiss and, you know, playing the drums really loud. And, you know, when you're young, you're like, I don't want to hear this loud stuff. But, you know, and when Motley Crue was like really at its height, you know, like the double drum, the bass drum, he did that, like, you know, that movement. I thought that was so cool. But anyway, I think that being around it, I think, you know, sometimes genetics can play a part. I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly not as talented as my grandfather was. I think he had just this very unique, very high soprano voice, and it's just beautiful. Not that my voice is terrible or anything, but I think everybody is unique in their own way. But I don't know. I think that you can be musically inclined and not be grown up with music. There's a lot of people that don't have musicians in their family and that are very, very talented. A lot of famous people as well. So, but I think it can be both ways. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it can be both.
Me too. That's what I also believe. Yeah. Yes,
Rebecca, talk a little bit about where you're from. Where in this wide world of ours were you born, and how did it kind of influence your music taste? So you may have already answered that to an extent.
Well, I grew up in a town called Moline, Illinois.
Yes.
And Moline is a part of what they call the Quad Cities. And some of you out there might know the Quad City area. It is accumulated of 4 or 5 cities that they've kind of combined. And if you go across the I-74 bridge, you're all over into Iowa. So we're very, very close to the Iowa. Davenport, Iowa, to be specific. But we're probably about almost 3 hours away from Chicago, if that gives you any sort of distance of where.
I know where that is. I know where Moline is.
So you know where the Quad Cities is, or just Chicago in general?
I'm Quad Cities. I'm very geographically oriented. I had a love of weather early in my life, and I got to learn a lot about a lot of different places. So.
Well, you'd be surprised on what Midwestern, what we think about music and how we just go about on learning different music, even though we're not stationed in a big city. I guess you can compare Moline, Illinois, as a small suburb, I guess, of the Quad Cities. We're still small enough where we're not like a huge city, but we're not small enough where we're like maybe like a podunk town where you can't, where you're not exposed to a lot of different music and different things. I honestly always wanted to live somewhere warm.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to lie. I'm like one of those people that would have got up and moved to California, Florida, Arizona, Texas, anywhere,
Rebecca.
like Georgia, anywhere warm.
All right, Rebecca, here's what we're... Okay, Rebecca, you're joining me and Renee when we all do the group move to Georgia. It's going to be you, it's going to be you, me, it's going to be Sandy, it's going to be Alana. We're all going to pick somewhere in Georgia, and we're just going to take it over.
My criterion, Rebecca, was always if it had palm trees or exotic flora. You know, the more exotic the flora, the better. Or if it was like a desert landscape. So yeah, I always wanted either desert or something exotic, because I'm, New York. I was raised in New York, and it's like really just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, Alabama.
Right. I used to actually. That's a whole other story. But I used to live in upstate New York for 7 years. I don't know where about you're located in New York, and of course, where I lived was very desolate in a very small town, upstate New York. So there wasn't a lot there, but in our town here, I would say, the people are very nice. Musically, we do have a good group of artistic people in our area, actually. We have a lot of local bands that are extremely popular, that some of them come in from the Chicago area, some of them come in all the way from Canada and other areas. I think the Quad Cities has really become, over the years, one of those, Midwestern towns or area that people are actually starting to migrate, to move their families there, even from the Chicago area. A lot of Chicagoans are actually coming here and living. But in terms of music, in the Midwest here, we had, every sort of genre going on in terms of live entertainment here, from, the Motown era to rock to country to pop. We have some jazz, blues clubs here. And I think it's the area is expanding, and I think musically, as our area expands more bands are traveling to our area, and that's really cool. Because of that fact, we're getting to hear maybe some stuff that we maybe wouldn't, because we're a smaller area compared to like Chicago. So it's nice.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask you a little bit about throat care as a singer, because I always get laryngitis. I don't sing from my diaphragm enough. I'm trying to learn that. What do you do what are your singing techniques? How did you learn how to do your breathing and all of that? And do you have any advice for singers like me who consistently are running up against the laryngitis wall?
Well, I have to tell you, unfortunately, even though I've been singing most of my life, I haven't taken any professional lessons or professional training I know that I don't sing correctly in terms of diaphragm and breathing, and I, like you, I definitely have to really watch how much I sing, because if you don't know how to sing properly, your voice will go out a lot sooner than those that have been trained. But I think for me, I always try to drink enough water. Hot tea before a show is definite, with a honey and lemon, that helps. But definitely kind of resting your voice when you know you have a show and you have, like, this Saturday, I have a couple things going on. And so just trying to rest it rather than, going strong as I probably would during the week if I don't have anything set up performance-wise. But I do kind of, what I do, I know this sounds like really weird, but even though I don't have the proper training of breathing, which, that's something that I'm definitely looking into, I do kind of like this, like, vocal warm-up. And the weird thing about it is when I do a vocal warm-up, I usually choose like R&B, like soulful songs that have a lot of like up and down runs. So it kind of gets your voice kind of going, you're going everywhere. And that really kind of opens up, your vocal cords in all different directions. And at least it's worked for me.
Awesome.
And I know that sounds kind of weird. You're like, okay, so she throws in some R&B music to kind of warm up before a show. Yeah, I do. I throw in some Aretha or something like that. And
I can see you doing that. That's actually really awesome. And, Lily May, who's just amazing, she said that she also has she just said she has a vocal warm-up video that she's going to share with us. So thank you.
Ooh.
That will be very cool too. Very
absolutely.
helpful. Both of you. And I agree. And Aretha, I draw a lot of inspiration from her. I don't sing like her, but I want to. But that's what, if I put on some of her songs and sing along with it, I do think that would be helpful. And I never tried that. So thank you. I think that's awesome.
It. Throw any R&B. It doesn't have to be necessarily someone like Aretha. But I mean, I don't even know if you like R&B. Bless you, JP.
I do. I love it.
Because R&B is, I would say R&B is an acquired taste for many. And it depends, because there's different types of R&B music. You have the older soulful, like Aretha Franklin, and then Al Green and Otis Redding.
Otis Redding is my obsession in life.
I love Otis Redding.
His voice is one of a kind. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of the Motown sound, is a really good way to start. But even the current R&B stuff. Like I love. I don't know if you know who Erykah Badu is.
Oh,
she does a lot
Tyrone.
of like. Yes, she does do this song.
I love that.
Yes,
that's my.
She does a lot of R&B and jazz. She has a lot of different type of R&B music. That's kind of fun to warm up with, because as I've through the years, I've really actually learned to appreciate jazz a lot more than I used to, and the blues as well. And I am a huge fan of reggae as well. So anything that's going to make your vocals go to different directions, that to me, but you got to watch it. I mean, when you say you're going to try Aretha Franklin or like a Whitney Houston, hold on, because you don't want to be like, taking everything you have just to do one song. And that's what I'm not pointing to you, to me too. I mean, that kind of came out wrong, Renee. I'm just saying, like, those songs are very difficult for anyone, including myself.
And I remember, Mariah Carey, she can do that. It's like if I were to try that, I would evaporate.
Right. I would never, I'm going to say this right now, and hopefully I'm not going to offend anybody, because I do actually like Mariah Carey's music, but I would never use Mariah Carey's music as a vocal warm-up.
You can't.
Holy Toledo.
It's a Holy Toledo. Holy Toledo is all you, yeah.
All right, get this. Here's my rule of thumb. If you're in the car and you can't even sing it on the radio because it's just too damn hard, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
You don't want to rupture your vocal cords.
No, because you know what? Those singers have been vocally trained. You think Mariah Carey, I mean, she has learned to whether or not she learned it on her own or someone taught her.
She's a professional.
She has a lot of vocal control, as well as Whitney Houston and Aretha had major vocal control. Exactly. And I don't know a lot of people that have that much control over their vocals. So we all have to be protective because we can really blow our vocal cords. And I'll tell you, I did a whole, what was it? I don't know how long did like 5 or 6 Journey songs back to back.
Ooh,
and I did not realize, I know,
that is tough.
I did not realize Steve Perry songs. Back to back, 5 or 6 of them. Look at JP sweating over there. It's so true.
Yeah, it's just, because
you just don't push it if you're not ready. It doesn't mean you're not a good singer. That does not mean it. It means that vocally you have not trained your vocal cords to withstand that. That doesn't mean that you're not a good singer. So anybody out there, don't think, well, if I can't do fine. No, it just means we have to learn to breathe better. We have to learn to use our yes. But it is true.
Yeah, just trying to the instrument, as they would call it, the instrument.
Yeah.
You know. And
you know what? I think it is so hard to sing from the diaphragm. I don't know why, but I do.
It's very hard for me.
It's so hard.
And to talk from the diaphragm is hard. You know, I can get laryngitis just from talking.
Just talking.
Absolutely. Throat, you know.
Rebecca, let me ask, growing up where you did in the Quad Cities, 70s and 80s, what kind of music did you gravitate toward?
Well, I laugh because I from the household, I heard all different genres. So I just, it was like a little bit of everything. But I would say, if you would say, Rebecca, what was the things that you were listening to growing up? You talk about Mariah Carey. You talk about Whitney Houston. You talk about Janet Jackson. I was hugely into Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, and Prince, and all those, you know, the legendary names. But at the same time, I was also attracted to, you know, that Motown era, you know, the Supremes. The Supremes were amazing to me even back then. You know, you talk about voice control. A lot of people don't realize that Diana Ross is like one of the best singers in terms of like she can just sing something so effortlessly. And, you know, it's almost like when she's singing, she's talking to you, know, hi, JP, do you want to go down to the street with me? Oh, you know, she's just talking, but it's just like such beautiful. So the Motown era for sure. Aretha Franklin, Diana Ross. I loved Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Dorothy Dandridge, some of those. Bob Marley. Can we talk about Bob Marley? I loved Bob Marley growing up. My parents went to Jamaica and came back with this mixed tape. And I had been hooked on Mr. Bob Marley and other reggae artists for a very long time. Even when I was probably about like 10 years old, I would just constantly listen to reggae. I know that's weird for like a 10-year-old, I suppose. But, you know, I had a brother that liked rock, like, you know, all the Van Halen, Kiss, you know, Beatles, a mixture in there, like just everything rock and blues, like Muddy Waters, you name it.
Wow.
Don't you feel like for almost any genre there's the cream of the crop and then the lesser? Don't you feel like every genre is somehow valid in a way and you can learn something as an artist?
Absolutely. Because I mean, if you look at it, okay, if you take someone like Aretha Franklin, right? You got Aretha Franklin, but you know, what about, you know, the Ashanti or the Erykah Badu or, you know, who's some more soulful singers, you know, the Jill Scotts of the world. I mean, I guess, you know, anybody compared to Aretha Franklin, you know, R&B wise, there's a standard, but absolutely, you know, because at the same time when I was growing up, I'd listen to like Paula Cole and Sean Colvin and artists like that, you know, Sarah McLachlan, Jewel. I mean, some of those artists that are, you know, so talented, but yet you know, you vocally, you know, you might think, okay, this person vocally is here, but that person, you know, is different vocally, but yet they still add stuff to the table. You know what I mean? So is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
It's hard to choose like who is your favorite. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like asking me what my favorite song is. Yeah. I like a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. I got, you know, I was on a Peter Gabriel fix for a while.
Oh yeah, I think we all have. I think
we've all had that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard Red Rain earlier today, and I about cried.
I love Red Rain. Love it. Peter Gabriel, very creative. I used to love Sting. I still love Sting. Sting and the Police.
Oh my gosh, it's like
Oh my God, we
amazing.
can Genesis, Phil Collins.
In the Air Tonight. Like
There's
there's some days when the only thing that I can deal with is In the Air Tonight with that drum fill. Do, 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 do. Yeah, it's like so good.
It's like one of the best songs ever. Like if you would
Literally.
ask me even like 5 years ago, like what is your favorite song? In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel is
In
definitely
Your
my top
Eyes.
5.
Yeah, there you go. Amazing stuff, right? That like just it transcends time, so it never really ages. It just constantly sounds fresh, you know.
Yeah.
That to me is what I love.
Rebecca, that all of this talk just made me think of a question that was not in my head until just a second ago. What is your, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, who are like the most divergent artists in your playlist? Like, who are the 2 most radically different singers or bands or whoever in your playlist?
Oh, wow. That's a good one because there's so many. I like a little bit of everything because I love, we didn't talk about this, but I love like Depeche Mode and The Cure and Susie Six and the Banshees, that kind of era of music as well. So I can listen to, in my playlist, I can have anything from like Depeche Mode to like Led Zeppelin to Bob Marley to Jewel to, Beck. I mean, just different, I seem to gravitate, honestly. It seems to be 2 types of things. I have the powerhouse singers. That's probably my first love. The very soulful singers. I love that type of music. But I seem to like the artists that just are a little bit off. Like they're just a little bit so unique where you just can't stop watching them. They may not be the best singer. They may not. Jamiroquai.
Jamiroquai. I mean, like, you know what? Yes, of course I do. And he's one of those things.
I wouldn't say Jamiroquai is one of my favorite singers, but when you put in some of his music, you're like,
yeah, I've never turned him off on the radio.
The funk back.
I will never turn him off if he comes on the radio. I'm telling you right now.
Right, because he's so unique.
He's so unique.
I'm attracted to that androgynous too. That androgynous
Me
music.
too.
David Bowie, Prince, Queen.
So good.
Adam Lambert. Can we talk about Adam Lambert?
He always gets like pushed aside as because he's like too popular or whatever. But I mean, come on.
He's amazing.
He's absolutely amazing. We do have the audience continually asking if you're going to sing something, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask if you're going to sing something.
I was not planning on it. No,
okay, that's okay.
That's all right.
That's okay. That's okay. But your fans, of course, they're always going to ask, so it's a compliment that they're asking.
Yes. Rebecca, I just thought of
maybe later.
Maybe later. Yeah.
Rebecca, I just thought of another great question, which was a little better wording of what I was asking before. Who is someone, or like a band or a singer or whoever, that people would be a bit surprised to know that you listen to?
Okay.
Anything outside the box?
Oh, sure.
A lot of what she said. Definitely like
I love the
Erykah
Beastie
Badu,
Boys.
I thought was very cool. Beastie Boys.
I love the Beastie Boys, but you know what? I could throw in a little Megadeth. I could throw in a little Metallica.
Wow.
We got Rebecca Brown Tawney.
I could throw some Danzig in there, some Glenn Danzig. I could throw all different types of music. Yeah. I don't like a lot of like heavy metal, like where it's like rah, 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 all the time like that. But if you talk about talent, Queensryche was an amazing band. I think they were completely underrated because he studied opera and could sing opera. But some people might say, well, other than Silent Lucidity, like who the heck is Queensryche, right? But check
Silent Lucidity is a thing. So the kids who don't know what that is, go to YouTube. Queensryche, Silent Lucidity.
I must confess, I have never
Operation
listened to Silent
Mindcrime,
Lucidity.
one of the best albums.
You have to. JP, it's before your time, buddy, but I'm
I know.
telling you.
A lot of what I listen to is before my time.
Look at the video.
All of what I listen to is before my time.
All right, here's another one which is more familiar. The Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes.
Insane. I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Absolutely. Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. One of the best.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one that I grew up with. You know. Yeah, people
but
are mentioning
here I'm going to throw
Queensryche.
something else at you. I'm going to throw something at you, Renee. All right, Paul Simon, Graceland.
Yes.
One of the best albums.
Amen.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Thank you. I love
that album is a masterpiece.
It is so
everything
good.
on it, masterpiece. I love that one. I think one of Paul Simon's best albums.
Amen.
Yes, absolutely. He's a huge inspiration for me. Oh my gosh, his voice, the way he does the arrangements, his lyrics. Whew.
I'm still trying to recover from your face when I said Jamiroquai, and I kind of said that just to throw you off. Your face was like,
Jamiroquai.
Jamiroquai.
You know, we need to bring him back. I feel like some people, if they know him, they know him. What did happen to Jamiroquai? We got to Google. Everybody Google. Google Warriors.
I feel like
Jamiroquai. Virtual Insanity. The song is Virtual Insanity.
I feel like the Beckys are just softly roasting me over the fact that I don't know about Silent Lucidity. I don't know about Jamiroquai. I don't know. I'm not as educated or cultured as y'all are. I need to get on y'all's
You know what though? Have you ever heard of Kate Bush? Kate Bush.
Oh, yes, but I have not heard that song that everyone's raving over.
She blew up now because she had a song on Stranger Things, right?
Yes, and I've never watched Stranger Things.
I'm embarrassed to say I've never watched Stranger Things. So
yes!
What song blew up?
There we go.
What song blew up by Kate Bush?
I'm
Running
trying
up
to
the
remember.
hill. Running up the hill.
Yeah,
Running up the hill. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good song. But you know what? She was one of those artists when we're talking about hey Rebecca, who did you listen to that you're just kind of like we think was a little bit she was a little bit different in terms of artistic performance. Yeah. Very quirky, but I loved it. And her voice was like an angel. Have you ever heard of an artist called Lorena McKinnon? She's a harpist and a vocalist. Amazing.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing. She actually performs a lot of Celtic music. Beautiful.
Oh, that reminds me.
There's a song called The Mummer's Dance. You guys are probably familiar with that.
Rebecca, you mentioned Celtic. You mentioned Celtic. I'm going to send you someone after we wrap up here. That is, when you hear her sing, you're going to cry. She's that good. But I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil it here.
Don't spoil it.
But we'll have a. I think me and Ray will have one more question apiece, and then we'll slip up towards the end of this here.
I gotta.
Rebecca, what is? You mentioned instruments earlier, and that you're in your family. You're one of the few that doesn't play instruments. But what instrument or instruments appeal to you most? Like, what are some that you would love to try to tackle?
Oh, by far, I would like to start with the ukulele. I love the sound of the ukulele. I love it. I love.
A lot of
I would try a stringed instrument, a guitar, like an acoustic. I love the acoustic sound of a stringed instrument.
And I think, and I don't. Yeah. And I don't know how many people in the comments will agree, but I think finger picking on an acoustic guitar is better than flat picking. You just can wring more out of it that way. You can just wring more out of the instrument in that way. And I love
it's a totally different sound. Totally different sound from using like a pick and then finger style, right? Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a totally different sound.
What other instruments would you like to tackle someday?
Piano. I love the sound of the piano. The piano is one of the most beautiful instruments. Definitely.
The piano intimidates me because I do good to play guitar in the shape.
Yes, you do.
But I don't have the hand, eye, or foot to play piano.
Oh, I forgot about the foot motion too. Right.
Electric pianos have spoiled everyone.
Oh my gosh, you're right. The foot. Oh my god, that's like piano is like driving a stick guitar or a stick car, isn't it? Really for a musician. So beautiful though, JP. You should try that. Look at this is going to be the code word. We're going to look at Renee and go Jamiroquai.
I was going to say, if this one here had the time, I would take piano lessons from her because we have a piano here. I have a piano here at home, but I'm just too intimidated. So Renee, if you have one more question, please unveil it.
Yeah, my question is just, what would you tell people who are scared to perform, but they want to perform?
Well, I'm a huge advocate of not letting anybody dim your light, or not letting your own fears hold you back from anything.
Amen.
And if you're out there and
Thank you.
you're like JP, oh, I can't do the piano. Yes, you can. Don't. If you,
Or I
you need
can't
to tell
sing.
yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Renee, you have a beautiful voice.
Yes,
and you
Thank you,
play
darling.
the guitar. Just
Thank you.
oh my gosh.
Every time I hear
very
Renee
nice.
play and sing, it makes me just sit my guitar down for a few days. She's that good.
Really, you're very magnetic when you perform. I can't stop. You are like someone where I when you start, I can't stop watching.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that. We'll get that in there.
Renee's songs are like Renee's songs are like Renee's songs are like Pringles. You just can't have one.
I know, you want to just mix those Pringles in there, like turmeric.
I want her to cover my songs. I would love to hear her covering my songs.
Hey.
Oh my God. I would love to. I'd be honored to. I would be honored to. But I want to say to everybody out there, okay, this is very important. Everybody, are you listening?
Yes.
You have your listening ears on. If you love music and you are scared to perform, whether you don't want to sing in front of people or you don't think you can play an instrument because it's too hard, just listen to there's so many voices in your head saying, don't do it. Be scared. You can't do this. But you know what? Turn those voices around, positive, and listen to the voices inside that tell you can, that you are good enough and you can learn, and not to give up on things that you want to. I think actually going live on a live stream for someone that's a little afraid to perform is probably a good start. And I know that sounds bizarre, but I mean, you have an audience out there, but you're not seeing them staring at you. You know what I'm saying? And or what I could suggest somebody is recording something, like pre-recording something.
Yes.
Go on your phone, record something of yourself, and then post it if you want to, or just do it at home for your own, just to admire on your own, or to show loved ones that you're doing it and have it in private. But I definitely think even if you pre-record something, and then if you don't feel like sharing it with everybody, you have it for yourself. Just tell yourself you can do it. You will do it. And JP, you will learn the piano, and I will learn an instrument. If I have the time, I will learn it. But no, don't let anything get in the way of something that you really, really want to do. And I think these two people here are a really prime example of that. Look how busy Renee is. Look how wonderful Renee and JP are. I love your poetry readings, by the way, JP.
Thank you, Rebecca.
But I want to thank you for having me, and thank you for.
We love you. We love you. And you do have fans. You have fanatics. You have people. We're obsessed with you.
The comments have blown up. There's fans out there.
Those comments. Yes. You got to go back and see these comments. They just keep coming. I can't even read them all. You are beloved. We appreciate you. And it's been a pleasure. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for being here. Thank you, JP. And love to Dritta, who usually hosts this show.
Yes.
We hope she's having a wonderful time. We love her.
We hope we made Dritta proud.
Yes.
Renee, thank you for taking some time out of your hectic schedule to co-host with me tonight.
It's the Becca-ning. It's the two Becca-ning.
It's the Becca-ning. You weren't going to miss a Becca-ning.
I can't miss my twin. No, that will never happen.
And Rebecca,
Renee, I want to ask one thing for Renee to do when she gets off, when she has time, because she probably, when she gets off here, doesn't have time. But I want you to do something. I want you to throw in Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai.
Oh, I'm going to do it. I got a little too excited. I sounded like Jamiroquai there.
Virtual Insanity.
Virtual Insanity.
Virtual Insanity.
I'll be looking that up after that. I'll be looking up Jamiroquai, and what was the other thing y'all were roasting me about?
We'll get people dancing to that one. That'll be good.
Oh, the Queensryche?
Queensryche. Oh, yeah, Silent Lucidity. Silent Lucidity.
You don't even know what Silent Lucidity song is?
I mean, I've heard of the song. I've just never heard it.
It's so fun.
Okay.
I would like to say that's probably one of my least favorite songs by Queensryche. It's a very good song, but they have so much.
They have a big
my gosh!
But that was like the one that MTV was playing like nonstop. But they actually have a wider catalog than that.
So, ladies
Thank
and
you, everybody. We love you.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the Becca-ning was televised, and it was an absolutely wonderful time. Renee and Rebecca, I love
Bye,
you both to the
everybody.
moon and stars.
Love y'all.
And take care, everyone. Much love, Godspeed, and all the best to all of you.